So thank you for giving this opportunity to share some of the initiatives that have been run in some of the other countries. And as Wanjira was mentioning in the morning, that there are 4 million deaths annually because of unclean cooking. And India happens to be one of the countries where there are more than 1 million deaths. In Kenya we are talking about 15,700. India there are more than 1 million deaths. So the situation is pretty serious that side. So I just like to share some of the initiatives which are already running in that country, and probably some of them can be adopted or can be used as an idea in some of the other countries. So if you see this chart, this is the blue deep line is the LPG consumption over the years. It's going up. But if you see in some years, it has come down, it has again gone up, it's come down. It is basically to do with the government support. Sometimes when a new government comes in, gives in a lot of support, and then what's happening, what we are seeing now in India. So, these kind of things definitely cannot happen without government support. And that's where, where we have VIPs and, MPs sitting out here who actually frame policies and, think of things way forward. Their support can actually take these kind of initiatives further and further. So I will just jump to the next the couple of charts. If you see this particular snapshot, India has 254 million households. And probably none of the African countries have a population of that. So if you see the second line, household in millions, 254, and out of that 159 households are rural, and that's where the problem is. Because if you see the penetration of LPG, in the urban side already 88% of the people are using. So we are all using, in this room, if we are a part of the urban society, we are already into LPG. But if you see the rural, that's where the problem is 19.6%. And that's what the intervention needs to be in any country, including India. So this is a little complicated chart, but I'll make it simple. There are 3 things that are happening in India now in terms of LPG penetration. One is the DBTS, is called the Direct Benefit Transfer. One is called the Give It Up campaign, and the third is called the Prime Minister's initiative on providing clean food source to the bottom of the pyramid. So the DBTS is the data. So earlier, what used to happen, people used to buy cylinders, or get cylinders from the distributors, and they would sell it in the black market and make money out of that instead of using it at home. So the direct benefit transfer is a model where you have to have a bank account and you have to have a biometric card by which you become a very authenticated consumer. Now, in the direct benefit transfer scheme, nobody gets a subsidy upfront anymore. When I do an online order, or anybody does an online order for an LPG, the LPG man comes and delivers in the home, and you have to pay the full price of the LPG cylinder. You get the subsidy within 48 hours, which is directly transferred to your bank account. So that way, you are actually saving a lot of these shrinkages, a lot of this misuse. I can discuss with you offline and give you more details on that. But for this presentation, I'm trying to make it short, otherwise I'll unnecessarily take up a lot of time. Then the second one after the DBTS, the second initiative is called the Give It Up campaign. The government of India is saying that for the well-to-do people like us, you do not need a subsidy anymore. Give up your subsidy, and that money will go to the people who need this connection at the bottom of the pyramid. By way of that, 10 million people have already given up the subsidy. And that's adding up to probably $1 billion or something like that. And that money is going to the people at the base of the pyramid.
So I can just go to the next chart. So regarding the direct benefit transfer, I've already spoken about it. I think let's move to the next chart. And these are some of the challenges of the direct benefit transfer, which is also important to know. Everything sounds hunky-dory, but everything has a challenge also. For example, the financial inclusion. It's so difficult to India to tell the banks to make it a bit more simplified for the people at the base of the pyramid to get their bank account. To simplify the KYC, as they call it, all over the world, know your customer. Even in Kenya, Nigeria, I think something like that is happening in some bank or the other. So the financial inclusion is very important. That is a challenge that we're trying to grapple with in that country. So what we are saying is that till that happens, something like a mobile money, which is also which is a rage in some of the countries where I lived. I lived in Uganda for 5 years, so I know what is mobile money. So if we can use mobile money to transfer the subsidy to the end customer till he or she opens a bank account. So as I said, the Give It Up campaign, that is the picture of our Prime Minister. He is actually driving this initiative. $1 billion he has already got from Give It Up campaign. And probably I'd like to just preempt by saying that it was very difficult for him to make people give it up, even when they actually do not need the subsidy. So he started this Give It Up with his own government employees. The Indian government employees are also running into millions of people. So if they start giving up, somewhere close to $1 billion has come. And that is setting an example for the others. If the government people can do it, why not you guys? The last line is of interest to you, that how much of money goes out from the exchequer every year in terms of, just the previous chart one said. How much of money goes out of the exchequer every year? In 2013 and 14, $6 billion US dollars went out only to give out subsidy in India. Next year. So now this is moving to what Daniel was saying. This is the third of the initiative, and probably an initiative which is doing quite well. And we, the Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves, is working very closely with the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. And as of today, my colleague in India is actually making a presentation to the ministry on how we can help and support them with an evaluation and impact assessment. Because they have a plan to do 50 million connections by 2019, and they are doing 100,000 new connections every day now. So it's running at a huge speed. Sounds very good. But when I have been to the households, I have seen LPG and I have seen biomass also. And in some houses in Kerala, it's a southern part of India where you have electricity surplus. They also have the induction stove. So there are 3 different types of stoves at the disposal of the housewife. So when you go and ask them, what is LPG for? They said, oh, LPG is for emergency. If suddenly somebody comes into my house, so we use LPG. So what do you use the induction stove for? Oh, the induction stove is used for heating the water when they have their bath in the morning. And what is the biomass stove for? Oh, the biomass stove is for cooking. I said, why for cooking? Because the father-in-law or the head of the family thinks the taste that you get of a biomass stove does not happen or does not, when it comes to LPG. So can you imagine, this is a long behavior change habit that we have to work through for many years to make people understand. So I think we can move to the next slide. So these are some of the challenges. I think someone was saying that, was a very correct question, that biomass is free. If you walk a few kilometers or maybe if you walk a few furlongs, you can cut the forest and get it free. Whereas when you have to buy a cylinder, you have to pay upfront. So that problem is there in the TMEU Y connections of the 50 million also, we have seen that when the connection is given, one time it is free in terms of a cylinder, in terms of the regulator and the pipe. That costs around uh, $20. That is given free from the government side. The stove is not free. The stove comes on a payment plan on installment. But when the cylinder is empty and they have to pay upfront $5 to buy the next cylinder, and that's where the financial problem comes. And so the government of India realizes that. I went to Nigeria. I spoke to Kwando, one of the big LPG manufacturers that side. They're all introducing this 2.5 kg, the smaller size cylinders, that is helping them in terms of one-time purchase, etc.